Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Fitchburg Cultural Council's monthly meeting. This is Tuesday, June 15th. We're opening the meeting at 4:30 p.m. and we're on Zoom. We welcome you if you're from the public. Thank you for listening in. We're a volunteer body. We're part of the city and we're part of the Massachusetts Cultural Council, where we help to support the arts and culture in our local region. So today we're going to go through our agenda items. I want to thank all of our members for their volunteer work and for being here today. Our first meeting on the agenda is our meeting location. I wanted to take a vote from everybody and see how we feel about meeting in person next month, or if we all prefer to stay on Zoom. So I wanted to put that out to a vote right away so we can plan for the summer. Would anyone have any feelings on that?
I'd really like to meet in person.
I agree.
I feel like if we're in a space that is large enough for us to distance, then this is a good idea.
Do you want to sit so that everyone is seated 6 feet apart, Casey?
Ideally.
Well, they're doing 3 feet in schools.
Any other feelings? Matt, Derek, Jesse, Joe?
I like in person. I think it's time.
I like
No.
in person. I have no objections.
Okay, Derek?
Yeah, I'm ready. We're masked off at work and everything now. As long as we're vaccinated and as long as we're socially distancing and appropriate, it's everyone else is getting back to it, so we should too.
Okay, so I'd like to take a vote then that we move to in-person in July, and I will report back to you guys with the location. There's some conference rooms at City Hall. We were at Fitchburg State before, and I've talked with Nate maybe about doing the Bank of America building. So I would like to report back to you on the location, but I'd like to put it out to a vote, if I may.
Do you need a motion?
Yes, please.
I would motion that we all get back together in person.
I'll second that.
So we have a motion from Eileen to go back in person, a second from Claudia for July 2021. Could we do a roll call, Joe, since we're still on Zoom? Would you mind helping with that?
Sure. Is there anyone speaking to the motion? Okay. Casey,
Yes.
Tamar,
Yes.
Audrey,
Yes.
Claudia,
Yes.
Jim,
Yes.
Eileen,
Yes,
Jesse,
Yes.
Derek,
Yes.
and Matt.
Yes.
Motion carries unanimously. We're back in person next month.
Thanks.
Yay.
The next thing is we have an open seat for treasurer. So Jim will be leaving us the end of the month. Thank you so much for helping us, Jim. And there's been some training that's happened and Eileen's offered to step in for the moment. And there'll be some other things we'll talk about later in the meeting on a different agenda item. But for the moment, I'd like to put that out to a vote if we would like to have Eileen in that seat. Anything you want to say, Eileen? And Jim?
I had a great training with Jim. I think I'm up to the job. My only question is I worry that because it's government money, I don't have the credentials. So I am going to continue to look for someone to be the treasurer. And if that happens, I will continue to do the communications with the grantees, which I think is the most time-consuming part of the job.
Any
It's
comments?
my election speech.
And Eileen, I just want to add that I'm always going to be available over the next couple of weeks before the end of the month. We can meet a couple times and to go over things. And it's not all that difficult, but I'm always going to be available anytime. Let me know.
I appreciate that.
And Eileen, myself as well, having served as treasurer and chair, I am quite familiar with the process and I'm sure you and I can
Thanks.
work
Thanks,
things out.
Joe.
Yep, no problem.
Thank you so much, Jim. Any other words, speech, anything you want to say, Jim?
What's that?
I said, is there anything you'd like to add?
Well, yeah, I just want to say it's been an honor serving on the council with all of you people, and I'm going to miss it. And I wish you all a success. And again, I'm not going anywhere. I'm still be around to provide any technical assistance.
Thanks, Jim.
Thank
So
you, Jim.
Would anyone like to make a motion?
Motion to have Eileen step up as treasurer?
I second.
So we have a motion on the table from Casey to have Eileen as our next treasurer, and from Claudia, from Jesse rather, sorry, as a second there. Anyone speaking to the motion? All right, let's have a roll call.
Okay, Casey?
Yep.
Tamar?
Yes.
Audrey?
Yes.
Claudia?
Yes.
Jim?
Yes.
Eileen?
Yes,
Jesse?
Yes.
Derek?
Yes.
And Matt?
Yes.
Motion carries. Congratulations, Eileen, and thank you, Jim, for your service.
thank you.
You're welcome.
Congratulations, Eileen. Bye, Jim. We're gonna miss you.
Yes.
But stay
I'm
for the
still,
rest of
I'm
the
still
meeting.
here.
Okay. On to the next thing. So the next thing is our grantee updates, modifications, extensions. And one thing I wanted to also have us vote on quickly is if we can extend the extensions until the end of the year. We asked Veronica rather, if this was okay, and she said it was. Correct me if I'm wrong, Eileen. And so I'd
Yes.
like to have us vote on that.
Mm.
So that would be to extend the grantee extension deadline through January 1 or
Do you need a
December.
motion or is that the motion?
I need a
you do-
motion.
Okay, well, let me motion that we extend the deadline for 2020 applicants to December 31st. Right now, their deadline ends at on September 21st. And we still have about 15 or 20 who haven't come forward and they still have to have their event. So we really need that extra time.
I'll second that.
So we have a motion to extend the extension deadline for our grantees to December 31st from Eileen and a second from Claudia. Anybody speaking to it? Kate, Audrey?
Yeah, so I'm speaking as a grantee that got an extension last year till that it was extended to June 30th of this year. Would I be included in that extension, in that vote?
Which year were you granted?
It was technically a 4-year 2018. It's the community bulletin board. So I've been having to work with the city and getting things approved. I mean, I could try to rush and pre-spend everything and get the receipts, even though everything isn't finalized, but it would make things easier if I could have another like couple months to do that.
So I think that's a second, maybe that's a second vote. Maybe we could work on the first vote first. And then Audrey, since you're here as a grantee, we could do that second. Does
I
that
wonder
work?
if there are any more people in your, Jim, do you know if there's any other people?
No,
from
that's the only one.
2018 through
Everything else has been
2019?
closed.
Okay, all
Right.
right.
I just grant took some time to get through city approval process and materials procurement and all kinds of other hoops and things. So it's been dragging on a bit. I think she's like the oldest grant we still have out there right now. It's not her
Yes.
fault though. She wasn't even on the council when we granted her the money.
So let's do that. Let's vote on the first motion that's on the table and then we'll open it up to Audrey's. Does that work for everyone?
So
Yes.
this is
Yes.
just for a 4-year 2020,
Yes.
4-year 2020 or
Mhm.
a fiscal year.
Yeah. So that's what Eileen's motion was. And Claudia, I think I had it. Did I have a second? Did somebody? have a-
Yes.
Yes. So Claudia was the second. I'm getting lost. Okay. So let's vote on that. Unless anyone else has a comment. Okay.
Okay, Casey,
Yes.
Tamar,
Yes.
Audrey,
Yes.
Claudia,
Yes.
Jim,
Yes.
Eileen,
Yes,
Jesse.
Yes.
Derek,
Yes.
Matt,
Yes.
that motion carries unanimously.
Okay. There we go, Eileen. That's good news for everybody. And now
Yes.
let's vote on extending Audrey's grant.
Point of
Yes,
order,
go ahead.
Tamar.
Step out.
Yeah, if it's possible, can we put Audrey in the waiting room? Unless Audrey, you have a statement you'd like to make about it beyond what you've already told us.
Does anyone have any questions for me? I'm all set to step out.
Okay. Are you, Tamar, are you host? Can you put her
I
in the
don't
waiting room?
know.
Become a
I think
You're a
participant?
co-host.
Yeah, I'm co-host. I don't know how to put her in the waiting room.
Maybe make me into an attendee.
if I may, what has been done in the past, if you just mute your audio and turn your video off, that has worked in the past.
Okay, that's fair enough.
Thanks, Nate. Okay, so would anyone like to make a motion to extend Audrey's grant through the end of the year with every other grant we have?
I'll make a motion to extend the grant.
I'll second the motion.
So we have a motion from Matt to extend it through December 31 for the board on Main Street for Audrey. And a second from, that was Eileen.
Yes,
Anyone speaking to the motion? Okay,
Okay, Casey,
Yes.
Tamar,
yes.
Claudia,
Yes.
Jim,
Yes.
Eileen,
yes.
Jesse,
Yes.
Derek,
Yes.
and Matt.
Yes.
Motion carries unanimously.
Okay, I'm going to be sending out a letter this week to all the stragglers and tell them that this has happened, asking them where they are in the process. Most of them are from 2020.
Is there any other modifications or updates we have, Eileen, that we need to talk about?
I don't think so, no.
Okay,
And Eileen, just a point, that should also include our people that have encumbered funds as well.
Yes.
Our 3 grantees that haven't requested their money.
Yes, yes, I'm going to all those people you sent me and
Great.
explain what's going on.
Okay, thank you.
thank you. So Jim, our treasurer and report would be next.
Okay. For our local funds, we have $1,845.95. That includes an increase of $200 from last month. And Anne Marie Lynch, a woman from Ashby, has made a donation for sponsorship of our Fitchburg Open Studios. So
Oh,
that is
great.
an increase. Our funds for FY20, which includes our administrative encumbered funds and our funds from FY20 that are applied from FY20 to FY21 grantee, has also remained the same. And the total of those funds is $7,841.92. Since our last meeting, with our allocation, our annual allocation of $43,100, $29,482 has been expended to date, with 29 grantees submitting their request for funds. And that leaves 14 grantees for $13,618 remaining in our balance for this fiscal year.
Thank you very much, Jim.
And Matt, you received, I want to make sure, Matt, you received.
I did
my
receive it
email?
earlier. Yeah.
Okay, great.
Thank you very much. And I believe Eileen and Jim and Audrey, we're going to meet tomorrow
Yes.
to go over some things. Okay, thank you, thank you. All right, so the next thing, if there's no questions for Jim, we have a council email as the next thing on the agenda. And I prepared a letter that I wanted to just have everyone briefly look at. We don't have to go into serious text editing on my screen. Can you guys see that? So we have currently, I'll just explain the story behind this. I'm going to try to zoom. I'm not the best with this. Here's the letter. So just to explain really quickly, this is going to be the next agenda item that we'll talk about. And right now we're using Gmail to correspond. However, for example, the Shirley Cultural Council, where I applied for a grant, they have a city email address, and the city email address would allow us to do some other things like email marketing and so forth. So this is just a letter, if you guys could briefly look at it, to the mayor requesting that we could get some IT support to set up a council email address, which we would love to have to be a little more official. And I just wanted to get a vote on to approve this letter so that I can send it to the mayor's office. And if anybody has any questions, let me know. And this would be in lieu of us trying to buy our own hosting and our own domain name and our own email account. So this would be to go directly through the city since we're part of the city. Any comments or notes?
I would suggest including why it is advantageous for Fitchburg to become a cultural district, like how we can get grants and such. And I think that will
Any other
add to
notes?
our case.
Okay. Noted. Anyone else?
No, I think this looks good. I think the tone is right on, and to Audrey's point, it can't hurt to explain a little bit about why this is a prudent step.
Okay.
Oh, maybe you should mention how Shirley does have a city email address to show that that is a thing.
Okay, that's a good idea as well. Anyone else?
I think it's a good letter. I think it's a really good thing to do.
Thank you so much. So if everyone agrees with my letter, I'd love to put this out to a vote as well.
You need a motion. Somebody else do a motion.
I motion to approve this letter from Tamar to the mayor of Fitchburg to request a city email address for the council.
Second.
We have a motion on the table from Audrey to accept this letter to send to the mayor to ask for our own email, and a second from Jesse. Anyone speaking to the motion? All right, let's vote it in.
Okay, Casey,
Yes.
Tamar,
Yes.
Claudia,
Yes.
Jim,
Yes.
Eileen,
Yes,
Jesse,
Yes.
Derek,
Yes.
Matt,
Yes.
and Audrey.
Yes.
Motion carries unanimously.
Thank you.
Oh, and Miriam is here.
Miriam is
Oh.
here. Miriam, we can't see or hear you, but welcome.
Here, I
All
can
right.
ask her to unmute.
So the next thing we have is the cultural district designation. So this is something that is a little bit of a process, but it's been done before. The Fitchburg Cultural Alliance actually went through the process a number of years ago and applied. And so I wanted to make sure Jesse was here today. The Fitchburg Cultural Alliance has agreed to attempt to do this again. And Eileen's been very active in these conversations, and I've been trying to help along the way. So I would like to get our council on board to, in the fall, this fall, so it'd be 2021, sort of start the process. And the first thing that I was working on is a letter that Eileen's copy edited, proofed, that I'll need the Alliance to review as well. And then of course, everyone will get a copy of it. But I basically wanted to kind of put this out to a vote as well. If everyone agrees that it's a good process for us to go through and the Alliance is on board to help us. So I don't know if Eileen or Jesse would like to speak a minute about this, about the designation.
maybe I should talk a little bit
Yeah.
about why we're doing this. Are any of you familiar with the cultural district designation? This was started by the Mass Cultural Council some time ago. We applied, I see, with Fitchburg. Fitchburg applied in 2013, but for reasons nobody quite understands, we did not get the cultural designation. Every other city in the state has that cultural designation. Of course, that's only 12 cities, but a lot of towns do. And we're missing out if we don't get it because there's grant money available. They've started doing seminars for different organizations like small art organizations who want to build their business. It puts you into contact with other cities who are running these cultural designations, the people who are running them, and they can help us with ours. And I think it's really an economic development thing as much as anything, because what we're looking at, the footprint that we're looking at is from the top of the, from First Parish, the Universalist Unitarian Church on the top of all the way down to Moran Square. And for all the businesses that are located there, they can then say, well, we're in the cultural district, come see us and look at Fitchburg. So I think it's really an important thing to do. And I'm very glad that Tamar and Jesse are going out and saying in this letter that we're going to do it. And we want letters from you to say you're supporting us in doing this.
And part of the email request from the mayor was because Louise, is that how you pronounce his name? From the Mass Council. One of the chats that we had with him, he basically said that one of the things they look at is if the city is supporting their local cultural council. And one of the simple ways that they can see that they're supporting it is if they have their own email, for example. So this is all part of like one picture, something that I would like to like put into motion, that we work on starting maybe in the fall, and that we get all these other city organizations and obviously the university, and get a letter to everyone so that they can help us. And I don't want to put any extra labor on anyone. Certainly I'll do everything I can, and I know Eileen will help, and the Alliance has offered to help. So Jesse, do you have any comment from your corner?
I think Eileen expressed a lot of it. So yeah, if we can, I think it is a long process. So this is all to just start that process moving. So.
Mhm.
So I wanted to get everyone's support here on the council, and maybe Joe, what do you think? I'd like to put it to a vote just to have everybody on board that this is something that we all agree is something that's valuable to go after as a council.
Just a point of order, because I am Alliance, should I abstain from this vote or?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, you should abstain. And if someone wants to make a motion in a second, I'll speak to the motion.
Would anyone
Well,
like to make a motion?
let me make a motion then. I motion that we go forward with this letter to the various agencies. Tamar has a wonderful list, and see what kind of support we could drum up for having a cultural district in Fitchburg.
I would
Second.
s-
Thank you, Jim. So that's a motion to send a letter and request support from every organization in town that the council would start the process to apply for the designation, cultural district designation. And we have a second from Jim. And Joe, did you want to speak to the motion?
Yes, please. Thank you, Tamar. First, for those of you who haven't been on the council as long as I have, it would be useful for you to know that we've been, as a council, we have been trying to lay the groundwork in order to get ourselves to a point to be ready to take on a cultural district within the city of Fitchburg. We've had discussions with city officials and with the Mass Cultural Council as well. And it's great that now the Fitchburg Cultural Alliance has stepped up and has come publicly out there to say, we want to do this. And I think that we would send a really great message to the city and to the Mass Cultural Council that we have a lot of support for this designation. I think it's right in line with all the different changes that are happening in that district right now in terms of arts and culture, that it would help attract more funds for us to do even more than what is being developed today. So that's my statement. I support this, and I'm happy to do the roll call when everybody's ready.
Anyone else want to speak to the motion? All right. Go ahead, Joe.
Okay, Casey,
Yes.
Tamar,
Yes.
Claudia,
Yes,
Jim,
Yes.
Eileen,
Yes,
Jesse.
Abstain.
Oh yeah, you're abstaining. Derek,
Yes.
Matt,
Yes.
Audrey,
Yes.
and Miriam, if you can unmute.
Let me ask to unmute.
The things we won't have to deal with in person.
I know, right?
that's right.
Hi, Miriam. I see you're unmuted. What is your vote?
What do we do?
Miriam, can you hear us?
Okay. Well, we have technical difficulties with that vote from Miriam. However, we already have a majority, so we'll just record it as an absent vote for now.
Thank you. Thank you, Joe.
Abstain.
Thanks for your support, everybody. To be continued conversation. The next thing,
Tamar,
yes.
will you be bringing that letter to the city council so that to put forward at the city council meeting?
Well, the idea is that every member would get one. Yeah. So yeah, that's the idea. So I might be looking for addresses and all sorts of things, but I'm sure I'll reach out with help. But the Alliance has to approve it first. So Jesse will have to take it to her board. So next is new membership. I know there's a letter around. Eileen or Audrey, did you guys want to speak about the letter requesting an accountant, possibly new members. Did you guys want to mention that?
Eileen?
Well, I have one that's going to go to the to 4 accountants in town. These are firms that have people working for them. They have interns, and my hope is that they will suggest someone, or maybe a couple people, who would like to serve on this board. Also there's a professional help wanted place, and there are a couple organizations there that are already asking for board members there. So I thought we might put something on there too.
Where is that, Eileen? Where did you see that?
I looked it up online. I Googled around enough and I found a Wachusett professional organization that runs these things. So why not? We might think of other organizations, for board members, like some of the arts organizations that we're dealing with. Should any of them be on our board? Ones who are not represented now. I'm willing to write another letter. This one is particularly suited for accountants. Also, in the fall, when we can also send a letter out. It would be good, I think, to have a couple students on the board, and I've crafted a letter. I'd have to figure out, and probably not until the beginning of the year, who to send it to, because these jobs change, over a summer. But I'm willing to send that out like in October and look for students who might want to be on the board.
Well, thank you. Thank you for that. So yeah, I guess this is just a good reminder that all of us time out at some point. So if anybody knows somebody at their organization or friends or family in Fitchburg who might want to be on the council, this is just a good reminder for us to reach out to people we know and invite them to come. And if you want to introduce them to Joe or I or Audrey, we'd be happy to talk to them and encourage them to come visit. Obviously, anyone's welcome to visit. Okay, so I'm going to move on to the next item. That's a good reminder for us all. Thank you, Eileen and Audrey, for all the work on that. I wanted to get the minutes in. There was one, I didn't want to send you guys too many emails because I know everyone's busy. So there is one that I missed because I got to it too late from Matt, but if I'll share the screen, I had sent this through email. This is our May meeting minutes, and I just wanted to get these voted in and approved. So I can scan the screen. I don't know if you had time to read this offline. Any edits? Anybody seeing anything that needs to change?
Well, under, I guess Audrey and I and Claudia are co-chairs of the PR committee, or is Audrey the chair of the PR committee and Claudia and I are co-chairs? I really don't care. I know that, what my job is going to be on the PR committee, so I don't care if I have a chair of any kind next to my name, but I'm just raising that as a question.
That was here in the beginning of the minutes.
Yes. And I think that's what we talked about at that meeting. So maybe that stands. Maybe at some other point we need to clarify, how it's managed.
Or how the rules should break up, maybe. Because there's
Yeah.
certainly, that's something that we can put on the on for next time. There's a lot to do now in PR, especially with the TV show. So if anybody has any comments, we'd be happy to entertain them quickly. But I think we did put you guys all in as co-chairs.
Okay.
Chair and co-chair.
I think that's my recollection as well.
Yeah, that's what we did.
Yeah.
You get double the salary, Eileen, if you're co-chair, so
Oh, thanks. Thanks for telling me that.
so it's worth it.
Anything else we need to review or adjust here? All right, I'm going to stop sharing. So I'd like to get those voted in and approved. There's nothing else. Can I have a motion?
What date was that from? Which meeting?
That was the 18th of May.
Okay.
Tuesday, May 18th.
Motion to approve?
Motion to approve from Casey,
Seconded.
second from Jim. Anyone speaking to the motion? Okay, Joe, can we vote those in?
Casey,
Yes.
Tamar,
Yes.
Claudia,
Yes.
Jim,
Yes.
Eileen,
Yes,
Jesse,
Yes.
Derek,
Yes.
Matt,
Yes.
Audrey,
Yes.
and Miriam. Okay, no vote from Miriam.
Thank you. Those are approved and those are in the drive if anybody needs that. I am sorry I didn't get the PR minutes to you from the PR meeting. I'll get those to you next month. The next up is the Fitchburg Open Studios. I want to give you a quick update. Peter at Capadagli at the Boulder Art Gallery has been very, very helpful in taking applications for us. So I have a stack in my car with checks that are going to go to City Hall tomorrow, which is a fun process to learn of how to get the money in the door. So we'll have some money to show on next month's report. And Eileen, Jim, and I and Audrey are going to City Hall tomorrow to work on that. We have 26 at the moment participating, and that includes the Creative Connections in Ashburnham Center, which they have a pod of artists there. There's a number of musicians this year, which is a little different. And then as Jim mentioned, we got the $200 from
Anne Marie Lynch.
Anne Marie Lynch. It's the Abijah Wyman House. It's the Yellow House in Ashby. And she's also offered space. It's a little out of the area, but if anybody wanted to pop up in Ashby, she's offered us space in her building. So I wanted to ask the council if we could vote on extending this to July 1st, because Peter and I thought there's still artists we're missing. So 26 is a good number, but we had 36 last time. So if we could get 10 more by the end of the month, I would be thrilled. So I would like to put this out to a vote to extend the application through July 1st or the beginning of, July 1st. If
So will
everyone,
they have
motion that we-
till,
okay, go ahead.
What?
will they have till 11:59 PM on July 1st?
yeah, I think so. It's a weekday, so.
Well, I was going to motion that we extend the deadline as suggested. I think it's great you have 26 people in though.
I will second that.
Well, a couple of them are pods. So like one of them is the Central Women's Caucus for Art, and there's probably like 8 of them, but they're at one location. And then we've got some other like groups at different locations. So, oh, and I think some of the checks that came in, I don't have online yet. So for example, Monica McNamara is popping up at the Boulder Tavern. Is it Tavern or Cafe? Whatever. She's going to be there. I don't have her listed, so that would actually be 27. But Peter and I were talking, and he'd really like to see more. So, and I would too. Obviously, we're going to do it one way or the other, but it's pretty exciting. So I would love to. Yeah. So Eileen, you put that in as a vote.
Yes,
Motion.
yes,
Motion.
yes.
And somebody
I
seconded?
motioned. And
Who seconded?
Claudia seconded. I believe.
Yes, yes, I did.
Anybody else want to speak to the motion?
I've been working on my permit for to get us to the Upper Commons. It's in the approval process. I think it will probably pass, but we have not been able to confirm that. And so extending the deadline will allow us to show that we have more pop-up spaces.
Excellent.
How are you doing with spaces in town for people who want to have pop-ups?
I think so far everyone has a space. I know.
In town? That's great.
Fitchburg Roots, I think, is popping up at the art museum. Kate Schaefer is doing the art museum. I don't know where Jennifer's going, actually, Jennifer Jones. So I think, yeah, there's a few that are still in the works. They don't know where yet, but I think we've got everything listed. So I'm sure they'll reach out if they're interested in the church too. And
Okay.
the women's caucus, I don't know which church they're at yet. That's also up in the air. So. Okay, I think we can do a vote. Joe?
I actually had a couple of questions. Tamar, is there an estimated number of artists among those 26 studios that have applied?
So that's 26 individuals or 26. The only ones that aren't individuals.
Okay, so eight of the 26 represent one group,
Or one location.
Right.
one location. Okay, okay. never mind then, that answered that. And the other question was, is do we have enough lead time with Fitchburg State to get our printed materials in place if we wait until July 1st?
I don't see that being a problem, Joe. This is a quieter time of year, so I think as long as we make a decision pretty soon after July 1st, we should be good.
They were so fast with the Alliance magazine, I couldn't believe it. So
Yeah.
I'm pretty impressed with your company or your school there, Matt.
Yeah, as am I, so thank you, yeah. But they've been great. I mean, like during the grant booklets and things, I was impressed how quick they turned those around.
Yeah, they have a really nice facility. I got to tour it also last week or two. It's really,
Oh.
really nice facility. They know what they're doing, and those machines are so fast. It's
Yeah.
really amazing. So thank
Does
you
that-
for offering.
Thank you, Matt.
Thank you, Matt.
I will.
Does that give,
I'm just the messenger, but I'll pass along the thanks.
Tamar, is Sika doing the graphic design or?
Yeah.
And that will give them enough time to update it and.
Yeah,
Send
I
it to the
mean, like,
printer.
as long as we have like a week to put it together and a week to print it, we need like 2 weeks. And usually, depending on where Fitchburg State's at, it's like 7 to 10 days with most business printers. So as long as we have like a 2 to 3 week window to get everything done, it'll be good. I'd like to get it all done by August 1st, so we have like 2 months of promotion time. That's the goal. Okay, I think we were gonna vote on that. So that was a motion from Eileen to extend it to July 1st and Claudia to 2nd. And anybody else? Or we could vote maybe with Joe's help.
Okay, Casey,
Yes.
Claudia,
Yes.
Tamar,
Yes.
Jim,
Yes.
Eileen,
Yes,
Jesse,
Yes.
Matt,
Yes.
Audrey,
Yes.
Derek,
Yes.
Miriam. Okay, no vote from Miriam.
Thanks, everybody. All right, so open the floor up. We have 2 more agenda items. Thank you for all bearing with me here. Jesse, we will get you out on time. I wanted to talk to Audrey and Derek to give us a little update on how Fitchburg FCC TV is going. There was a second filming and some editing that happened. Wondered if you guys could update the council.
Sure, I'll start first. I just finished editing episode 2, which features the Forge Theater Lab and the Abolitionist Park. And that will be ready to air tomorrow night, Wednesday at 8 p.m. on FATV, just in time for the Abolitionist Park's Juneteenth celebration or groundbreaking ceremony of their park this Saturday at 10 a.m. And Forge Theater Lab's online play, which I believe is June. I think that's in next week, and it'll be streaming online for a week and a half or something like
Can I make a comment? Your timing is impeccable.
that. In terms of for scheduling,
Yes.
that was the goal. That's why we rushed it. And Derek is working on our summer concerts episode for episode 3. We were able to film 2 episodes last Tuesday. And Tamar and Derek were so great in jumping in to host when Casey was not feeling well. And Claudia was fantastic, bringing in all the guests and making them feel welcome and comforted while the rest of us ran around panicking. And FHTV were fantastic in helping us crew.
Thank you, FATV.
Great.
And Derek, do you have any
Probably-
comments? I know you were nervous over there, but it worked out really good. You're on mute.
So I'm on the road, as you can tell, so I had to pop in and steal some Wi-Fi from a little diner, so it's a little distracting. I apologize, but I didn't want to miss the meeting. But it went really well. Again, big shout out to FATV and me and Jared, who were such great helps. It's going very smoothly, and I'm excited to get more involved as we figure out kind of what the show is going to be and how we're going to film it. And Yeah, no, I think it's going to turn out pretty well. I think everybody did a great job, and there's so much more that we can attack as well for content. So I think it's going to be a good thing for the Cultural Council.
It's a great.
And I have confirmed our next filming date with FATV, which I can send an email to all who want to crew.
What's the date, Audrey? Just I would like to write it down.
Tuesday, June 20. Let me pull up the calendar too.
That's 29.
Yeah,
29th.
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 Tuesday,
right,
June
good.
29th. So hopefully that will give us enough time to gather our guests. Jesse, I know that you said that you were interested in having FAM come in July. That will probably be the best time to do it. I don't know if that works for you or if someone from the art museum.
Let me also, I think Marjorie would be a good partner. So when the install is happening right now, and when she can settle her thought, we can definitely make that happen.
Fantastic. So we have at least one guest.
That's exciting. Thank you very much, Audrey, for all your hard work. And Derek.
Have you done First Thursdays yet?
Have we highlighted First Thursday?
Yeah, because maybe we can get Marissa.
We are focusing on our grantees right now. And if those
true.
organizations are doing other things, like for example, having the Fitchburg Art Museum, you guys can also talk about First Thursdays. then.
Okay, because we're one of the sponsors of it. Okay, there we go.
Yeah.
Right.
So the summer concerts episode, depending on how fast we edit it, it'll probably come out in a couple of weeks or 3 weeks.
Perfect. Thank you, Audrey. Thank you, Derek. We'll look forward to having you next time, Casey. Hope you feel better. All right, so our last item today is the grantee reception. I just want to confirm with you, Jesse, since we had you here today, if the date still works in August, if there's anything we need to know from the museum in terms of how things work or should work, or things we might need to know.
I just actually had an updated meeting about our protocols this afternoon. So there will be a tent in the courtyard for the entire month of August. So that's great for this. But basically our mask mandate lifts on June 26th. So those are the base, and we have no capacity limits anymore.
Oh,
So
Great.
that makes
Great.
things a lot easier.
That's great. So just as a reminder, everybody, our grantee reception, we agreed to make it on August 13th. It's a Friday, which puts us in time to get our public input in as well that same day. So I know that this will be something the PR committee can talk about in depth next month. What do we need to do to plan that? And I think that'll be a big thing we need to talk about next month, actually, and who's available to have some volunteer time to put something together.
Okay.
So I won't
In
take
the
any time on that. Go ahead.
In the past, members have brought things. I know I brought a cheese tray last time, and you, Jim, I think brought some stuff too.
So
Is there going to be any of that? You can't do it?
if you want to bring food, everything has to be individually wrapped. And that's just, yeah,
That hasn't dropped yet, huh?
no, and it may never drop. I'm owning that's also now my personal paranoia, but that may not live for a while.
Okay, sorry.
So that'll affect, I think Claudia was working on some things, right? For the
I've
grant.
already, yes, I've already secured with the numbers 5. I've already secured boxes of chocolate individually
Mhm.
wrapped, and I think I can't think of a reason why that would not qualify as far as sanitation or anything like that. But I had a source, so I went ahead and got them before somebody else got them. So they're sitting in a cool room in my house in a plastic covered, dust-free bin.
I love it, Claudia. This is like the black market. This is so, she's like, I've secured them. Well, we appreciate your help. That's excellent. I'm glad whoever was able
Yes.
to volunteer them. All right, so that's something we can all discuss at the PR meeting. Audrey, yeah?
I was wondering if we could have a volunteer to put together the public input survey that we do every year, if there are any changes that we want to make or like customizations to the survey. I thought it'd be great if someone could volunteer to do that. And I don't think it's necessarily a public relations thing. It could be anyone from the large
I
council.
would do it if you like. That doesn't mean I could be the only one. If anybody else wants to look over it too and make suggestions, that's probably good.
Eileen, I would help on that.
Thanks.
Thanks, ladies. That would be great. And
Fantastic.
do we, and maybe we can talk about this later, but it'd be fun to have one of those boards like we had the last one that Joe did.
Yeah, the sticky note boards.
Yeah, that was a lot of
Yes.
fun.
Yeah, I think we want to bring that back.
Yeah. All right. All right. So things to discuss. That's all I have on the agenda for today. So I think we can close a little bit early and get people off to their lives and evenings, unless anybody has anything else on this agenda item they want to talk about. Jesse? No? We want to make sure we don't get in trouble.
Again, I just want to say thank everyone for being on board with me during these past 5 years. It's been quite a journey, and especially the past year. And I look forward to seeing you all at the various functions as we come out of this pandemic and see you at functions in and around Fitchburg. Best of
Thank you.
luck.
Yeah, Jim, thank you for everything.
Thank you,
Yeah,
Jim,
you're
for your
welcome.
service.
You're
Respect
welcome.
all of us, Yeah.
You're welcome.
Jim,
Don't
I
be a
enjoyed
stranger.
working with you.
No, I won't. No. Not
Jim,
at
are
all.
you staying local?
Oh, yes. Yeah. I'm not going anywhere.
Okay.
I have a
nice.
4-year-old granddaughter, so
Ah,
Oh,
we're here for the long haul.
okay.
Does she want to be treasurer?
Start them young.
All
We'll build
right.
up to that. We'll build up to that.
Apprentice.
Yeah.
All right. If nobody has anything else, I think we can adjourn early today. If anybody would like to make a motion, it's 5:17.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Thank
I'll
you.
second it.
Jim just seconded the motion to adjourn. So it's
Last action.
5:17. I'll see you
Last
guys
action.
next month. Oh, your last action. It's perfect.
Yeah.
yes.
See
Have
you
a good
guys.
night, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
See you in
Okay.
person next week.